Okay, I am very excited for this review because for the first time in this channel's history, we're gonna be looking at a Mexican's book. So, today we're looking at Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno-García. Hello everybody, how are you? I am Archie and welcome to this new episode of Analyzing Fiction, where, as I just told you, we'll be talking about Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno-García, a book that really excites me and that I really want to talk about. That was a notification. Sorry about that if you did hear it. But anyway, before we begin, these two guys here are available in Amazon both in digital and physical format if you want to get them. And of course, we cannot forget this guy as well. Candle's book 2.5 of the War of Tears saga. That book is not a must read. You do not have to read it to understand what will come next. However, if you do, you will probably enjoy it quite a lot. You will probably gain information that might help you understand better in future books and will make the experience more enjoyable. So anyway, now that we have that done, let's go and do the P.A.O for this book. So the P.A.O, the possible malediction, will be this 7. Yeah, not great, not bad. 7. Okay, so for the Spanish video, I did a horrible job with the biography of this author, so let's hope that I do a better one here. So Silvia Moreno-García was born in 1985, I believe, and she was raised here in Mexico by her parents. In 2004, however, she moved to Vancouver in Canada, and there she studied a master's degree in science and technology studies. Currently, she also lives there. She stayed there for life, and that's where she lives right now. So for a great period of her life, she's had a strong connection with the more English-speaking countries of the US and Canada and those types of countries. So she has always been very into the publishing industry. In fact, she's worked on many projects as a co-editor, as an editor. She worked on a tetralogy focusing on Lovecraft's mythos of Cthulhu and all those creatures. And most of those books, I believe 2 or 3, were nominated for different prizes. In 2011, she was nominated, not only nominated, but she was also a finalist for a prize thanks to her work on a magazine called Exile Quarterly. I have this totally wrong, but she was a finalist thanks to her work in that magazine, and after that she began publishing other works. Eventually, in 2015, she would publish her first novel, and after that she would have a rather prolific career. She would publish other books such as this one, Gods of Jade and Shadow, and this year she recently published Velvet Was the Night. However, her by far the most famous book of hers is Mexican Gothic, which came in first place for the Goodreads Choice Awards in horror, I believe, but she was first place in a category for the Goodreads Choice Awards, so that's a great fit. Today she continues writing. She likes weird fiction and not necessarily like conventional, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the biography. So let's go ahead and talk about the plot for this book. So this book follows Cassiopeia, a girl who lives in a family in Mexico, 1920s, that is fairly very man-empowering, right? A very man-empowering society. Women do not have that many rights, and she is tired of this. She wants to get out of this life. So one day she enters the house of her uncle, who is also the ruler of the town in which they live in, and there she tries to steal a big chest that contains who knows what. She thinks it's money. However, when she opens it, she finds that it's actually bone, and when one of those bones is embedded into her finger, the bones transform into a human body that gains flesh and muscles and all that. And this body turns out to belong to Vucub-kamé, who is this god, pretty much, and also the Lord of Xibalba, this underground, deep world who is... It's essentially the underworld, but for the Mayans. And Hun-Kamé, he is a legitimate ruler, but his younger brother Vucub-kamé betrayed him, and he has now usurped the throne, and Hun-Kamé has been captured here. So the book essentially says how Hun-Kamé and Cassiopeia leave Merida, which is where they live, and go on this journey across the whole Mexico to regain his eye, his hand, and his ear, I believe. And with those three things, they'll be able to return to Xibalba, fight Vucub-kamé, and Hun-Kamé will be able to regain his place in the throne. However, there is a catch, and how for as long as Hun-Kamé has Cassiopeia's blood in him, he will become immortal, and Cassiopeia will die. So Hun-Kamé is essentially draining Cassiopeia's life, and in doing so, he is becoming immortal and killing her. So they have to do this quickly. And that's essentially the plot of this book. Of course, the uncle will not let this happen lightly, and he will send Cassiopeia's cousin, Martin, to search for her. And yeah, that's essentially the plot of this book, so we can officially begin my review. So let's go right ahead and talk about the plot of this book. And the plot is, it was a little disappointing for me. And this may be because I really had very high expectations for it. After all, Silvia is Mexican, and the Mexican authors that I've read, Juan Rulfo, Carlos Fuentes, Jorge Barbengoitia, those are great authors, and they have a huge amount of skill, a huge amount of talent, and they're really mature. Their works are amazing. Pedro Páramo is often placed alongside Don Quixote in level of importance for Spanish literature. So there were great authors, and I really had great expectations for this book, and those expectations fell a little flat here and there. However, that doesn't mean that it's a bad plot, just that it's a little less political, magic realist, and a weird, in many aspects it just lacked things. However, the things that I did enjoy about this book, I really enjoyed. The climax, especially, Silvia has an innate talent for climaxes. This climax in the book is done perfectly well, in the sense that as the climax goes on, you begin to lose and lose hope, and then when a solution is found, it's the least expected, but it's the one that makes the most sense, and you really never imagined it, but when it happens, you feel a fool because you should have seen it, and it's very well done. I really like the climax for this book, as well as the whole exploration of Mexico, the whole exploration of how Mexico in that time existed. I do have a comment about that though, and I will leave it towards the end. But I really enjoyed the plot overall. It's a very decent, very sustained plot with very interesting twists here and there, especially introducing Martin as a bigger character. Martin has more POVs than I would have expected, but he does appear quite a lot in the book, and that's very interesting. I really like how he gives it a turn in some places. And going into characters, I did say that Martin is a very interesting character to be added. However, that doesn't mean that he felt great to me. To me, Cassiopeia and Hun-Kamé were great characters. I really enjoyed them. I think they're very complex, and I really like how they are executed. However, Cassiopeia and Martin, I believe, fall in a kind of problem that has recently taken more feminist text, more feminist novels. And don't get me wrong, I consider myself a feminist. I believe in equality between men and women. However, this is a critique that I have after reading quite some books on this genre. And the thing is that this book makes all women extremely smart, extremely cunning, extremely capable, and all men, all jerks. They're dumb, they're violent, they're impulsive, and that's not how it is in the real world. And well, there are women who are also incompetent, but those women are meant to make the men look even worse, and meant to make the main character even better. So that's something that I don't like about more feminist books and movies. For example, Enola Holmes with Mycroft falling flat like that, like he's just a jerk because he has to be, and people think that makes the women characters shine more, but I think that having more complex characters, men and women, men with flaws and virtues, women with flaws and virtues, which is how it works in real life, would make each of those characters shine more. And that's what true equality is about, like making people shine despite color, race, sex, gender, whatever. People are people, and they each have an opportunity to shine. That's true equality. So that's my only critique with the characters, that I think they might fall flat here and there, but overall they're very decent. They're very decent overall. Vucub-kamé and Hun-Kamé, they are pretty much spared from this because they are gods, and being gods, they don't have emotion. However, the few parts in which Hun-Kamé has humanity and he begins to show his feelings, he does kind of fall flat for this as well. So apart from that, it's all good characters, it's a good plot, and the narrative, for the narrative I have no bad comments. I really think that the narrative is very well established, very well done, and it really guides you onward with the story. I really enjoyed how Silvia just pulls you forward, makes you keep turning the pages, because it's a very interesting story. It's a very fast read as well, so that's also something that I really liked, especially with other Mexican authors such as Juan Rulfo being very, very, very interesting, but very, very dense. That's something that I did appreciate from Silvia, that it was an easy read. You didn't have to read a sentence 3 times to get half of it. So that's something I really appreciate from her. And now another thing that I really like, and that made me gain a lot of respect for her, is the exploration and investigation that she did on the Mayan culture. And something that Mesoamerican cultures and overall all the cultures in America have is that their cosmology is very different from the Western culture that we are all accustomed to, because that's the culture we all grew up with. So Aztec, Mayan, Toltec, it's all a very complex and different type of vision of the world that for us who have grown up with other cultures, with Western culture mainly, it's very hard to grasp. And it is clear that Silvia did her homework here, because she truly understands, or mostly understands, how many of the things in the Mayan culture and mythos work. She gets how Xibalba is, she gets how Vucub-kamé and Hun-Kamé interact. She even puts a glossary at the end explaining a little of the context for those who aren't really into the culture, for those who have no idea of what it is. It's a very intricate investigation, and you can really see how she did her homework here, and that's something that I really appreciate, because it also keeps Mexican culture from being misrepresented. Because believe me, Mexico is not a desert with a mariachi and a donkey playing the guitar with a cactus nearby. That has nothing to do with Mexico. Actually, Mexico is the only country in the world that has all the environments, all the climates, except for tundra and taiga. No other country in the world has this. So yeah, Mexico is very different from how it is portrayed in many places, and that's something that I really appreciate from this book, that it breaks with that stereotype. So yeah, my grade for this book will be an 83 out of 100, because I think it is very well done. It is a very, very good book, 4 stars. As you saw in the beginning, there were things that I didn't really enjoy, but the things that I did, I enjoyed a lot, and I really appreciated them. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed them, please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Also, check out the book if you like the review, and I hope that you enjoy it. So yeah, also, I will not be able to post 2 videos a week from now on. I have a lot of work to do, so we'll only be uploading videos on Sundays now for you. So I'm sorry about that, but I just have too much work to do at the moment. So for the moment, and until new updates, I will be uploading only 1 video a week. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you later. Bye!